What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I have some new hot items from Dior. These are a couple of items from their newest collection, which is called the Miss Dior Millefiori collection. In particular, I have the new Miss Dior Eyeshadow Quint, and I also have the new Bougie candle. So if you guys want to hear all my thoughts on this product, some close-ups, daylight application, and of course, lots of comparisons, then keep watching. If this is your first time here, then welcome. My name is Sophia, and this is my channel where we talk about all things beauty and luxury. I am a huge Dior and a luxury makeup lover. I upload content every single week on all the newest luxury beauty releases. So if that is of interest to you, then you need to join our community. Hit the subscribe button to subscribe to the channel because we have so much fun over here. And you can also hit the notification bell to hear about every time I upload a new video. I know a lot of you all are very excited for this collection. So if you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. I will also be linking all the products that I mentioned in this video and anything that is on my face today in the description box below, including all of the comparison palettes. So without further ado, let's get into the details of this collection. So as I mentioned, friends, this is the newest and hottest collection from Dior. It's called the Miss Dior Millefiori collection. And I think that maybe this is kind of like a holiday collection, although we have seen some other sneak peeks of other holiday items that are coming from Dior. I think that they're just launching different collections for different groups of consumers, different tastes, and this particular collection celebrates the beauty, the femininity, and the whimsy of Miss Dior. It's very fun, it's very young, it's very fresh, it's very floral. If you guys have ever smelled the Miss Dior fragrance, it really is kind of that vibe. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, I'm going to be reviewing for you guys the new votive candle, and then I also have the Miss Dior Eyeshadow Quint. So we'll get into that in a second. I do want to show you guys briefly some of the other items that are in this collection. These items have officially launched in the US and they are available on the Dior website. My guess is that this will not come to Sephora. These types of items usually don't. They might come to some department stores, and then I'm sure they're probably going to be launching in the US, maybe Canada, probably Europe. I will keep you guys updated. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, you definitely need to. I'll put my handle up here so that you guys can check me out. That's where I let you guys know when all of these things drop, especially if they're coming out in other countries or also at other retailers. So follow me on Instagram if you want the latest on that. Personally, I purchase all of these items on the Dior website because I live here in the US and they are live. Let me just scooch over a second so I can insert some images of the other items that are in this collection. First off, just looking at my notes here, we have the Dior Forever Cushion Powder. This, I believe this isn't a new product. I'm pretty sure that I've seen reviews for this, and typically what Dior will do in these types of situations is that they will re-promote like a cushion foundation or a cushion powder or some sort of compact in a limited edition packaging. So what you're gonna see throughout this collection is absolutely stunning, gorgeous floral packaging. I mean, look at this beautiful compact. I decided not to get this because I'm not really much of a loose powder girl, but the packaging does look beautiful. Please comment down below as well. I was kind of thinking when I looked at this, wouldn't this get kind of dirty? Because it looks like it's this upholstered floral type of packaging. I just feel like I would get foundation all over that or makeup or whatever. I just feel like I would get that dirty. So comment down below. Let me know if you got this. Did you think the same thing? Because that was one of the reasons why I didn't get that compact, in addition to me just not liking pressed powder. We also have some new lipsticks. The packaging doesn't look different, but the biggest difference here is that we are getting a beautiful floral kind of stamping or embossing on the bullet. So those look really beautiful. We also have some lovely bath products. So we have some Miss Dior bath tablets, and we also have Miss Dior bath pearls, which I think are perfect for this collection because it's just really fun and young and fresh. And they're also kind of celebrating the Miss Dior fragrance. So I think adding those bath products in there makes a lot of sense. I also think that it makes it very giftable because don't forget, like, this is technically a holiday collection. It's a limited edition pre-holiday type of release. So I think putting those bath products in there, if you're like not really sure what shades people would like, is a really nice gift idea. Now, what I think are going to be one of the most popular items in this release are these new cases. These are the new Dior Addict lipstick cases. They released these in the beginning of the year. I already have several of their other limited edition cases, so I didn't pick these up. I also thought the same thing here about this packaging. Like, wouldn't this get really dirty if it's like a white fabric-y kind of thing? I have the denim one that was released in the beginning of the year, and that one is fine, but I I do kind of fear that I would get makeup on it if it was white, but these both are absolutely stunning. There's also a new shade in this lipstick formula, which is called Miss Dior. It is a beautiful soft rosewood shade, and there's also a new Dior lip glow in a very similar shade. These are all kind of shades that we already have, so I would encourage you to look through your collection and see if you already have those types of rosy shades. But those are the other products that are in this collection that I won't be reviewing today. So now that we have that out of the way, let me get into reviewing the products that I did pick up. I'm gonna start off with the candle just to kind of get that out of the way, and then we will devote the rest of the video to the eyeshadow quint. So first up, we have this beautiful new limited edition Miss Dior candle. Let me read you guys the description that is on the Dior website. It says, Miss Dior inaugurates its first scented candle that recreates the fresh and floral notes of the fragrance. The trail of Miss Dior is unfurled in delicate swirls of fragrance once the candle is lit and lasts for 24 hours of burning time. So first off, let me get the elephant out of the room. This is tiny. This is a lot smaller than I thought it would be. Let me just put like my hand up here for reference. It's about the size of my palm. It fits in the palm of my hand. I thought that this was gonna be, just kind of for reference, this used to be a candle. It used to have a candle, now I just use it to hold my brushes. I thought it was gonna be more so this size. This is very, very small. So that was my first reaction. When I opened the box and I saw the packaging that this comes in, I thought, oh no, because wait for it guys, the price of this is $49. Ugh. And one of the reasons that I justified picking this up is because once I use it up, I can use it for organization. I can put brushes in it, I can put little bits and bobs, you can put your jewelry in it, you can kind of hang things off of it. I just want to keep it on my desk after it's burned through. But this is very tiny. I am gonna still do that, but I just want to let you guys know this is a very small candle. It's probably one of the most popular parts of the release because a lot of you guys told me that you were interested in this, but yeah, it's pretty small. That being said, it's still really cute and it smells bomb. Like it smells like a rich woman's bathroom. You know how a fancy bathroom, you know, they've got the diffuser in there, they have all this expensive skincare, fragrances, and you walk in and you're like, smells good in here, smells expensive. That's what this smells like. It's just this beautiful floral, fresh kind of scent, but in a very sophisticated way. If you guys enjoy the Miss Dior perfumes, either the classic or the new Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet, I think you're really going to like this. I personally, I don't enjoy wearing the Miss Dior fragrance. It's not really my style of fragrance, but I like the scent in general. Like I don't want it on me, but I really like it in kind of that candle version, in the candle format, so to speak. So yeah, I don't have that much more to say about this candle. I just wanted to show you all close up so you could see what it looked like, you could see what size it was, and I can kind of describe that scent to you. Very floral, very fresh. I've been having it here on my desk as I've been doing all the swatches and comparisons. Even without lighting it yet, I can smell it and I just keep thinking, what smells good? And it's the candle. So those are my thoughts on the candle. Let's get over to the eyeshadow quint. All right, friends, let's talk about this new limited edition eyeshadow quint from Dior. It is a little bit difficult to find this on the website because you have to go to the regular page that shows the eyeshadow palettes, and then this is listed under limited edition. It is titled 1947 Miss Dior, so that is the official name of this palette. Let me show you guys some close-ups of this. One of the reasons why I really like doing these reviews, especially for Dior, is because I just find that their promotion photos don't look anything like reality. I'll show you guys the promotion photo right here. This palette looks a lot lighter and dustier in the images, and I thought the same thing about the Riviera palettes, but then when I got them, I was like, wow, these are so beautiful and pigmented and luscious and summery, and I would have to say the same thing for this palette. It looks a lot darker, richer. I don't want to say it's a deep palette, but I think there's a nice variation of tones here. I will show you guys the daylight swatches that I took of this. You have a nice mixture of finishes here. You know, you've got two mattes, two satins, and then that beautiful hint of sparkle from the pink topper shade. Let's hop into my daylight application of this palette so you guys can see how I got this look and how these shadows apply. So first off, I went in with the lightest shade in this upper corner. This is a very pale shade. I think for me, it's just a good base color. I went in with it on the crease and then kind of blended it onto the lid, but I also like to use this for blending. I think if you have a deeper skin tone, this actually will probably show up better on you, and you can use it to kind of brighten up the eye on the center of of the lid in the inner corner on the lower lash line. It's kind of almost the same shade as my skin tone, so it doesn't show up so much for me, but that makes it really good for blending and also a really good base. So I'm not really that mad about it. Next, I went in with this beautiful rose satin shade and I blended that all over the lid. This is your classic soft Dior pink. I thought the quality was really good. It's really the same formula that we see from all Dior shadows, that really beautiful, soft, kind of sheeny satin, but not a high shine metallic that you would see from, you know, maybe like a Charlotte Tilbury or a Natasha Denona. Next up, I went in with this center shade to start building in some depth. This isn't quite a full purple. I would say it's almost like a rosewood type of purple. It blends in really beautifully. This does have a satin texture, but with like a lot of Dior formulas, you can put these in the crease because once again, they're not super metallic. They blend out really nicely. And I think that this is a really great shade to just start adding a little bit of depth. Next, I took it a step further and created even more depth with the deepest shade in the palette. Now, this is a purple. This is kind of like an eggplant, plummy type of purple. I think it pairs really well with the other colors in the palette. It is different enough from the center shade, which has a little bit more of like a reddish undertone, whereas as I mentioned, this is purple. I put this kind of on the outer V just to create a little bit more definition. I wanted to keep this look still very soft because this is like a Miss Dior type of vibe, so I didn't want to make it too smoky. But if you wanted to, you could definitely build this up and you could go full smoke with this palette. You would just, you know, go a little bit more heavy-handed with the center shade and then with this deeper shade. Finally, you gotta go in with the topper shade. I put this on the center of the lid. I love it when Dior includes these topper shades because, like I said, they're shadows. They're not super metallic. They don't have a ton of pop. It's very soft, sophisticated. I love that type of look, especially when I'm in the mood for something like that. But I'm also a magpie, so I like to take it a little step further, add a little bit of sparkle when I need to. I also put this on the inner corner just to add a little bit of glimmer. And I think having that sparkle in there, it goes with the theme of the palette, which is Miss Dior. It's very feminine, it's fun, it's flirty, we're keeping it fresh. Finally, I popped on some mascara and this is the final look. I think it came out really beautiful. I love the tones of these. Once again, with Dior, I feel like when I'm doing my makeup, it doesn't look like that much. And then when I'm done and I kind of step away and admire just how easily and beautifully blended the shadows are, I always really like the effect. I didn't put on any eyeliner for this because once again, I want to keep it really like young and wide-eyed and just kind of light and fresh for this look. But comment down below and let me know what you think of this look. What do you think of the tones and the colors? Do you think it would show up on your skin tone? I would love to hear from you all. Next up, friends, we have my favorite part of the video, which is of course comparisons. There are a lot of pink tone palettes from Dior and I do have most of them. So I'm going to be doing lots of comparisons here for you guys, and then I have a couple other brand palettes as well to show you. I'm actually going to start off with what I think is the most obvious comparison, and this is with the limited edition Miss Dior face palette that launched at the beginning of this year. Yes, I bought this. Yes, I have a full review of this and I will link it down below. A lot of people didn't want this palette because, I don't know, it had the little mini nail polish. I thought that that was the most adorable thing, but I totally get it if this wasn't for you. But if you kind of liked the tones of this palette, then I think this Miss Dior palette will be a really great option for you because you don't really get the parts of the other palette that maybe you didn't want. It's still very sophisticated, but it's still like very Miss Dior themed. If you guys look at the swatches, they're not exact, but like if you have the Miss Dior limited edition face palette, I don't think you need the new one from this collection. They have a lot of similar tones. If anything, the benefit of this one is that you get a lot more depth. Like you just get more options because you have 5 shades instead of 3 plus a blush. The ones in the Miss Dior palette are just in general lighter and brighter than this new one. Next up, I'm going to compare the new Miss Dior palette up against the Dior Popeline Quint. This was a limited edition spring quint that was launched at the beginning of this year. Unfortunately, it's not available, but I know that a lot of you have this one. Taking a look at these side by side and at the swatches, you'll notice like Popeline, just like the other Miss Dior palette, it doesn't really get much depth and the tones are very different. Popeline is more of a pink, whereas the Dior one, it's more of a rose, at least side by side. Next, I'm going to show you the comparison up against the Tutu Quint. I know a lot of you guys have this one. Tutu is more purpley. Like, It's more for people that are going for a purple look. It's still very soft. I think if you have Tutu and you're interested in this new one, they're different enough that you could have both. In fact, I think that they're both really good companion palettes. Next up, we have the comparison with Rouge Trafalgar. Now, I was surprised by these because I was thinking there's no way that these are similar. But what I noticed is that I actually think that Rouge Trafalgar is the deeper version of this new 1947 Miss Dior palette. It's almost like they took Rouge Trafalgar and they kind of softened it up a bit. If you always admired Rouge Trafalgar, but you were always afraid of that like really red shade in the middle, or maybe you were just worried that the shades were gonna be a little bit too deep for you, then I think that this new Miss Dior palette would be a really great option. Or if maybe you don't have both of them, but you have a darker skin tone, then I think Rouge Trafalgar actually might be a good option for you. Next, we have another new-ish Dior palette. This is from their limited edition Velvet collection that they did this year, and this is called Rosa Mutabilis. Now, aside from the finish and the formula being different, because remember, the limited edition Velvet ones, they have a different texture and they're more matte. I just think that these have different undertones. Next, I'll show you guys a side-by-side up against Pink Corolle. Sorry, I cannot pronounce that very well. I apologize. These are very different palettes. I actually didn't even swatch these because I think that if you're going for Pink Corolle, you're going for something more vibrant. You've got that vibrant fuchsia. They're very different palettes. All right, friends, buckle up for the next comparison. I was very excited when I put these side by side. This is the comparison up against one of the new Chanel Tweed palettes. This is number 02 Tweed Pourpre. Now, these look pretty similar. I don't know about you guys. Comment down below if you agree with me, but I think the tones here are very, very similar. I'll show you what the swatches look like in daylight. Obviously, Chanel, the formula is very different. If you guys watched my review of these Chanel Tweed eyeshadows, which you definitely should because it's very comprehensive, you will know this was my least favorite one of the bunch. I just felt like this Chanel quad, it was a bit dusty, the color payoff wasn't there, and I also wasn't very happy that all of the finishes were the same. Like, you really didn't get much depth, you didn't get much variability. And what I like about this new Miss Dior Quint is that it's very similar tones. We're getting similar shades to the Chanel Tweed number 2, but we just have more depth. We have more depth and shimmer and satin deliciousness and sparkle from the topper shade. So if you were really excited about that one from Chanel, but it either let you down or I changed your mind and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna get it because I don't like the way the swatches look, I don't like the quality, then check this out because this one might make all of your dreams come true. Couple more comparisons for you all. The next one is the new Guerlain Majestic Rose Quad. These are pretty different, mostly because the Guerlain one has that brown. I think that the look you get from Majestic Rose, it's less girly and bubbly and feminine. It's a little bit more of like a sultry, sophisticated rose. I've said that before. I think that the brown really grounds the looks that you get from this quad. Next, I will show you side-by-sides with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk quad. So I have Pillow Talk 1, and then I also have the Pillow Talk Dreams quad, which launched earlier this year. I didn't do side-by-side swatches of these because I really don't think that the undertones are the same. I think that if you have the Charlotte Tilbury ones, you're not really getting a dupe with the Miss Dior. Charlotte Tilbury, the undertones are always very nudie. Yes, they are pink, but they're not really a purpley pink. They're more of a nude pink. And finally, a very obvious comparison up against the Natasha Denona Retro palette. I know a lot of you have and really, really like this palette. The tones are very, very similar. I'll show you guys some swatches side by side here. I swatched a couple extra shades from the Natasha Denona just for good measure. The biggest difference here, obviously, the formulas are just very different. From Natasha Denona, you're getting more impact, they're more metallic, there's obviously more shades. If you like the Natasha Denona palette, but maybe you want a slightly more subdued, smaller version of that, I know a lot of people, they just don't want really big palettes like that. Then I think that this is a really good option. But if you already have that palette, you don't really necessarily need this one from the Miss Dior collection. All right, friends, it's time for my final thoughts on this collection, at least the pieces that I picked up. First off, I think it's an absolutely stunning collection. I think it's really smart from a business perspective. I know that Dior is going to be launching other holiday collections this year, which is going to be great, but I really do think there is a market and a customer for this sort of Miss Dior theme. I love that they're taking this sub-brand and really celebrating that theme and putting out some really beautiful and interesting products. When it comes to the candle, I kind of already told you guys what I thought of this. It's really cute, but I do think that it's overpriced. If you are a hardcore Miss Dior fan, maybe you wear the fragrance, maybe you just really love the look of this, you think it would make a good gift, it would go nice on your desk or on a vanity, then get it. But I do think $49 is a lot for this candle. I love the scent of it. I'm not like sorry about it, but I do feel slightly ripped off. I think it's a little bit overpriced. Now let's talk about the eyeshadow quint. Let's talk about the things that I love about this. First off, I think the quality stands up to all of the other Dior quints that I have. I really have not had that many issues with the quality of Dior eyeshadows. I know there are some limited edition ones that come out that people have said are just not really that great, but I honestly think that this is great. I think the quality is really nice. I also think that it goes along with the collection. It makes sense why this launched with the rest of the collection. It goes with the theme. This is the color of Miss Dior, like very soft gradations of pink. I'm also happy to see that this is actually a lot deeper and more varied than what we saw in the promotion photos, because the promotion photo, it just like didn't look like this. It didn't look like this at all. So when I opened it, I was pleasantly surprised. I think this will work for a lot of skin tones from fair to the deeper side of the spectrum, especially because you have these two deeper shades here. You can really smoke it out. You can get so many different looks from this. Now, what are kind of the things that I don't like about this? I would just say, I think in general, this is a little bit redundant. In the scope of the collection, it makes a lot of sense. Like from a business perspective, these are the shades that sell really well. It goes with the collection. But overall, did we really need another pink palette from Dior? No, we didn't. Like you guys saw, personally, I do not need this palette. I picked up this palette because I asked you guys, do you want me to review it? And it's really funny because half of you guys said, ew, no, that looks so dusty and boring. And then the other half of you were like, yes, I want to review. I got a lot of interest for reviewing this palette, and I love a good controversy. So I needed to review it. I love reviewing these things. I also use my Dior palettes quite a bit. So who do I think this is for? I think this is for someone that either A, really loves Miss Dior and you love this collection, you want to pick something up, you sort of maybe collect Miss Dior things, or if you don't already have a pink palette from Dior. I kind of think it's okay if you have, you know, the Natasha Denona retro palette or maybe another brand that has a very different formula, because you get different experiences from it. But if you already have a bunch of pink palettes from Dior, I really just don't think that you need this. I think that it's pretty redundant. I know a lot of people were rolling their eyes at this. So those are my thoughts, guys. But comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this. Were you sort of surprised by how this looked in real life like I was? Let me know what you think of this look. I know we're seeing a lot of pink palettes from a lot of brands, but we're in a tough economy right now, and this honestly is what sells, so I get it from a business perspective. If you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And once again, I will be putting all of my affiliate links in the description box down below, along with everything on my face. I'm wearing almost a full face of Dior, so if you like Dior, I'll tell you what's on my face. Shopping through those links is actually a really great way to support my channel at no additional cost to you, so I will include those all down below. And with that, guys, I hope that you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.